everyone. Today I will be discussing about the object code generation for the SIC-XC instructions. The entire job of generating the object code for the SIC-XC instructions can be classified into two different steps. In the first step, we are going to assign addresses to all the instructions based upon the instruction format. And in the second step, we are going to take each and every instruction and then convert it into the object code by using either the program counter value or the base relative value. So before going to the actual code generation, we will have a quick recap of the SIC-XC instruction formats. There are basically 4 different types of instruction formats in SIC-XC. That is format 1, format 2, format 3 and format 4 based upon the number of bytes each format instruction takes. In case of format 1, the entire instruction is only 8 bits in length. That is, the total length of the instruction in a format 1 is 8 bits, that is 1 byte, and it has only the opcode. Examples of format 1 instruction can be return to subroutine. RSUB is an example of a format 1 instruction where you have only the opcode and you don't have the operands. And coming to the format 2 instruction format, that is, it takes 2 bytes. 8 bits for the opcode and 8 bits for the operands. And among these operand 8 bits, 4 bits are reserved for register 1 and the remaining 4 bits for register 2. That is, out of 2 bytes, 16 bits, 8 bits for the opcode and 4 bits for the first operand, which is a register, and the remaining 4 bits for the second operand, which is also a register. So how do you identify an instruction which is in format 2? The instruction will have an opcode followed by 2 operands and both the operands must be registers. And coming to the format 3 instruction, as the name itself says, format 3 instruction is 3 bytes in length. So how is it divided, these 3 bytes? That is, the first 6 bits is allocated to the opcode, 6 bits to the opcode, and the remaining 6 bits, the remaining 5 bits for the addressing mode and 1 bit assigned for the extended mode. Extended mode is in case if the instruction is in SIC or in SIC-XC, and if the instruction is in format 3 or format 4. E bit value will be 0 for a format 3 instruction and E bit value will be set to 1 for a format 4 instruction. The only difference between the format 3 and the format 4 instruction is the last 12 bits are going to be the displacement field in format 3 and the last 20 bits are going to be the target address in case of format 4. Apart from that, all the other fields are going to remain same. The only difference between format 3 and format 4 is, in case of format 3, bit E will be reset to 0 and the last 12 bits is assigned for the displacement. But in case of format 4, the E bit will be set to 1 and the last 20 bits are allocated for physical address or the target address. And coming to the addressing modes that are mentioned in format 3 and format 4. N represents indirect addressing mode. Any instruction which begins with any operand in the instruction which begins with the @ symbol is said to be in an indirect addressing mode. Whenever the instruction is in indirect addressing mode, N bit will be set to 1, otherwise the N bit will be reset to 0. I indicates the immediate addressing mode. Immediate addressing mode, how do you identify an instruction whether it is in immediate addressing mode or not? If the operand begins with an # symbol, then the instruction is said to be in immediate addressing mode. When it is in immediate addressing mode, set the I bit to 1, otherwise reset the I bit to 0. And coming to the next addressing mode, which is X bit. X represents indexed addressing mode. So wherever you have the second operand as an X, because X is an indexed register. When you see the registers of SIC-XC machine architecture, there you can find X is one of the register and that register is an indexed register. So in case the second operand in the instruction is an X and then that instruction is said to be in indexed addressing mode. If it is in an indexed addressing mode, then X bit will be set to 1, otherwise it will be reset to 0. Next, coming to the P bit. P represents PC relative addressing mode. By default, all SIC or SIC-XC instructions will be in PC relative addressing mode. In the range of PC relative addressing mode is between -2048 and 2047. So how do you find out the target address when the instruction is in program counter relative addressing mode? Target address is equal to program counter value plus displacement. But in case of format 3 instructions, you are supposed to find out the displacement and not the target address. From this equation, we are going to deduce for displacement. Displacement is equal to the target address minus the program counter value, and the displacement should lie between the values -2048 and +2047. In case if the displacement value goes beyond 2047 or below 2048, then that instruction is not said to be in program counter relative addressing mode. Instead, you have to go calculate the displacement using the base value, which will be mentioned in the program itself. In case even here, if the displacement value goes beyond +4095 and goes below 0, then that instruction is not said to be in base relative addressing mode, and such kind of instruction will be marked as erroneous instructions. So again, you can just have a look at the various instruction formats. Format 1, those instructions which are only having the opcode, no operand. Format 2 is opcode and you will have 2 operands and both the operands are registers. And format 3 instruction where the last 12 bits is assigned for displacement, and format 4 instructions where the last 20 bits are assigned for the address. How do you differentiate between the format 3 and format 4 instructions? The format 4 instructions are going to begin with the plus symbol, but the format 3 instructions are not going to begin with the plus symbol. If the instruction is in format 4, then E bit will be set to 1, and if the instruction is in format 3, the E bit will be reset to 0. And for format 4 instructions, you need not calculate the displacement, but for format 3 instructions, you are supposed to calculate the displacement. How do you calculate the displacement? Using these equations. That is, displacement is equal to target address minus PC value. And if the displacement goes beyond the range, then you will have to take the base value and find out the displacement. Now we'll go to the actual program or the SIC-XC instruction where we are supposed to generate the object code. So this is an example program or a small set of instructions of an SIC-XC program. Here you have the program, and this program is being divided into 3 different columns. These are all the labels are called as symbols, and these are all the opcodes. The second column is the set of opcodes, and the third column are the operands. And for each and every opcode, you have the opcode hexadecimal equivalent opcode value. And the first instruction of this program is sum start 0. So start is an assembler directive, end is an assembler directive, here base is an assembler directive, reserve word is also an assembler directive. What is the use of all these assembler directives? Start assembler directive indicates start of the program. So this start assembler directive takes 2 values, one on the left hand side of it and the other on the right hand side of it. So what is there on the left hand side of the start? On the left hand side you have sum. It is the name of the program. So sum is the name of the program, and on the right hand side you have value 0. So the value mentioned on the right hand side of the assembler directive start indicates the starting address from where exactly the program has to start from. So that is the meaning of the start assembler directive. Assembler directives are those which are going to direct the assembler and they are not going to get executed. And base is one such assembler directive which gives the value of the base register. So in this program, in case if any of the instructions displacement goes beyond 2047 or -2048, then you'll be using the base value to find out the displacement. Similarly, you have the end assembler directive. End assembler directive indicates the end of the program. And the fourth assembler directive used in this program is reserve word. Reserve word is you want to reserve some amount of memory locations. For that reason, you'll be using the reserve byte. reserve word. So reserve word is going to, here in this example we have count, reserve word and 1. It means that you are reserving one word. One word is equal to 3 bytes. 3 consecutive bytes are going to form a single word. So how many words we are reserving here? We are reserving one word, in the sense 3 consecutive bytes are reserved and the name given to those locations is count. Similarly, in the next instruction you have reserve word 2000. 2000 in the sense 2000 words you are reserving. In the sense 2000 into one word is 3 bytes. So 2000 into 3 is 6000 bytes or 6000 memory locations you are reserving, and you are naming those memory locations as table. Similarly, you have the third reserve word assembler directive, which is again 1, in the sense you are reserving 3 consecutive memory locations and naming those memory locations as total. Now we will start with the actual conversion of these SIC-XC instructions into the object code. So as I have told you earlier, the entire process can be categorized or divided into 2 different steps. The first step is assigning the addresses to all the instructions. So how can you assign the address? From where can you get the starting address of the program? That can be brought from the assembler directive start, because start will tell you where exactly the program is starting. So where exactly the program is starting? It is starting from the address 0. So the first executable instruction is stored, or it starts from the address 0 in the memory. So this is the label. First is the label which tells that it is the first executable instruction. So we have to start assigning the addresses from the first executable instruction of the program. So it starts from 0. I will just write 0 over here. So this is the first executable instruction of the program, and at which address it is starting? It is starting from the address 0. Fine. So the next instruction, how do you assign address to the next instruction? Identify this instruction is in which format. So this instruction has got an opcode followed by an operand, and this operand is a register. This operand is a register. So this instruction is set to be in format 2 because it has got an opcode and it has got an operand, and that operand is also a register. So this instruction is set to be in format 2. If the instruction is set to be in format 2, how many bytes does it take? It takes 2 bytes of memory. So this instruction is starting at address 0, and where should the next instruction begin? This instruction starts at 0 and ends at 1. So the next instruction LDA #0 should begin at the address 2. So 0002, the address of the starting address of the next instruction. Then so LDA #0. Now identify which instruction format is this instruction in. LDA #0, LDA is the opcode, and #0 is an immediate addressing mode. So identify if it is in format 1. No, it is not in format 1 because the format 1 instructions are having only the opcode. They do not have the operand. Now check if the instruction is in format 2. No, because it has the opcode, but only one operand is there, but that operand is not a register. And check if it is in format 4. It is not in format 4 because all format 4 instructions are preceded with a plus symbol. So since it is not there in format 1, format 2 or format 4, it is obviously present in format 3. So according to the instruction formats of SIC-XC, format 3 instructions occupies 3 bytes of memory. So they take 3 bytes of memory. So at which address it is starting? It is starting at address 2. It takes 2, 3 and 4, and the next instruction starts at the address 5. It is 0005. Coming to the next instruction, that is plus LDB #total. Now this is the next instruction. It is starting at the memory location 5. Now check if this instruction is in which format. It is not in format 1 because it has got an operand. And it is not in format 2 also because the operand is not a register. And check if it is in format 3. It is not in format 3 because this instruction starts with a plus symbol. Only format 4 instructions are beginning with the plus symbol. So this instruction is said to be in format 4 of SIC-XC. In format 4 instructions, they occupy 4 bytes. They occupy 4 bytes. So since this instruction is starting at address 5, it occupies 4 bytes. 5, 6, 7 and 8. So obviously the next instruction should begin from address 9. Next instruction should begin from address 9. But when you see the next instruction is an assembler directive, which is base total. So assembler directives are not executable instructions. They are going to direct the assembler to perform some operation. So which is the next executable instruction in sequence? It is add table comma x. So this instruction is going to start from address 0009. So now check how many bytes this instruction is going to take. So is it in format 1? No, because it is having an opcode as well as it is having 2 operands. Now check if it is in format 2. Format 2, no, because only the second operand is a register, but the first operand is a memory location. So it is not in format 2 also. Now check if it is in format 4. It is not in format 4 as the instruction is not beginning with the plus symbol. So since it is not in format 1, 2 or 4, it must be in format 3. So the format 3 instructions are going to occupy 3 bytes. This instruction starts at address 9, occupies 9, 10 and 11. 9, 10 and 11, and the next instruction starts at the address 12. 12 in hexadecimal is C. 12 in hexadecimal is C. Now coming to the next instruction. Check if this instruction is in which format. It is not in format 1. It is not in format 2 because you have an operand but that operand is not a register. Check if this instruction is in format 4. No. Why? Because this instruction is not beginning with the plus symbol. So it is not in format 1, 2 or 4. So obviously it must be in format 3. So according to instruction formats, format 3 occupies 3 bytes. So it starts at the address C and it occupies C, D and E. So the next instruction starts at the address F. Next instruction starts at the address F. Again, check this instruction if it is in which format. It is not in format 1. It is not in format 2 also. It is not in format 3 also. So it must be in, it's not in format 4 also. So it must be in format 3. Fine. So the format 3 instructions occupy 3 bytes of memory. So it's starting at F, 10 and 11. So the next instruction should begin from the address 0012. After F, it is 10. The JLT table occupies the memory location F, 10 and 11. So the next instruction STA total starts from the address 0012. Now check in which format is this instruction in STA total. So STA total is not in format 1 since it's having opcode as well as operand, and it's not in format 2 because the operand is not a register, and it's not in format 4 since the instruction is not starting with the plus symbol. It is in format 3. So this instruction occupies 3 memory locations, that is it starts at address 12, so goes up to 12, 13 and 14. So the next instruction starts at the address 0015. Starts at the address 0015. When you see the next instruction, it is not an executable instruction. It is a assembler directive. So what is this assembler directive doing? It is trying to reserve words. How many words it is going to reserve? It's going to reserve only one word, and the name of the memory location is count. So one word is how many bytes? One word is equal to 3 consecutive memory locations. That is 3 consecutive bytes is equal to one word. So it starts at the memory location 0015 and 3 consecutive memory locations it is reserving. That is 0015, 0016 and 0017 are reserved for the variable count. So the next memory location that is available is 0018. So what is the instruction at 0018? At 0018, the instruction is table reserved 2000. Again, it is an assembler directive which is reserving word. How many words are you reserving? We are reserving 2000 words. This 2000 is a decimal value. When you convert this 2000 into hexadecimal, value is 1770. So 1770 bytes you will be reserving in the memory location. That is 2000 into 3, 6000. 6000 is the decimal value. Convert that 6000 into hexadecimal. When you convert 6000 into hexadecimal, the number of bytes that you are getting is 1770 bytes. So add this 1770 to 0018. To 0018. The answer that you get is 1788 is the last memory location. So here, what is the instruction at 1788? It is again reserve word and write, and one reserve word and one word you are reserving. So here it starts at 1788. One word is equal to 3 consecutive bytes, 3 bytes. So it starts at 1788, 89 and 90 are nothing but the locations which are allocated for the variable total. So we are not worried with the ending address because the next instruction is an end assembler directive, which says that it is the end of the program. So just below the program here, we have the various hexadecimal opcode equivalents for all the instructions. So now after assigning the addresses, we are done with the step 1. So coming to the step 2, what is the step 2? The step 2 is finding out the object code. Since you got the addresses for all the symbols, now the second step is generating the object code. For generating the object code, we need the addresses that we have calculated so far. We need the hexadecimal opcode equivalents of all the instructions over here. So we'll start with the generation of the object code for each and every instruction in this small set of program. We are finding out the object codes for each and every instruction. So coming to the first instruction of the program, start is an assembler directive. It is not an executable instruction, and hence we are not writing the object code for this instruction. We are moving directly to the second instruction, which is the first executable instruction. The first executable instruction is clear X. Now, which format is this instruction in? The instruction is in format 2 because we have already seen while calculating the addresses, we have already seen which instruction is in which format. So, we are clear now. We are clear with the instruction formats of each and every instruction in the program. So, clear X is in format 2. What is the instruction format for format 2? Here we have the instruction format for format 2. 4 bits for the opcode. 4 bits for the opcode, 4 for the operand 1 and 4 for the operand 2. 4 for the operand 1. That's 2. 2 bits. Let's start with the generation of the object code for clear X. So here you have 8 bits. 8 bits for the opcode, 4 bits for the first operand, 4 bits for the first operand and 4 bits for the second operand. So when you check the opcodes here, what is the opcode for clear? The opcode for clear is B4. So enter that value in binary directly over here. B is 1011 and 4 is 0100. Next, coming to the value of operand 1. So how many operands do we have here in this instruction? We have only one operand. So what is that operand? X. X is the register. X is a register. So when we have, you must have already come across the registers of SIC XE. When you see in those registers of SIC XE, each and every register is allocated with a unique number. 0, 1, 2 and so on. So A, accumulator register is allocated with the value 0. X is an index register which is allocated with the value 1 and so on. All the registers are given a unique number. So what is the number associated with X? X is a register which is an index register and the associated number for that register is 1. So represent that 1 in hexadecimal, in binary, that is 0001. And do you have a second register here? We don't have a second register here, and hence the second field is going to be zeros, or the second operand value is going to be zeros. Now you're done with the object code generation for the first instruction, that is clear X. So now group 4 bits together and generate a hexadecimal value out of this 16 bits. So when you group 4 bits, 1011 is B and 0100 is 4, and then you have 1, and then the last 4 bits is 0. So this is the object code for the instruction clear X. So I'll repeat again. So clear X, how do you generate the object code is, find out the opcode for clear. The opcode for clear is given here, which is B4. Represent that B4 in binary. B is 1011 and 4 is 0100. Next, in case of format 2 instructions, you'll have two operands, and both the operands must be registers. But since here you have only one operand, just take the value of that operand, and the second operand you make all the bits as 0. Now coming to the operand of this instruction, the operand is X. X is a register. So when you go back and see the registers of SIC-XE, you have X as one of the register, and each and every register is allocated with a unique value, unique number. So 1 is a number that is associated with X. Represent that one over here instead of X, and since you don't have a second operand, make the second operand 4 bits as zeros. So you are done with the object code generation, that is convert these ones and zeros to hexadecimal values and place it over here. So this is how you convert the clear X instruction into the object code. Next, coming to the next instruction, LDA #0. LDA #0 is in format 3. So this is the empty instruction set for the format 3 instruction. So first 6 bits for opcode. Next you have 6 bits for addressing, 5 bits for addressing mode, 1 for extended bit, and last 12 bits for displacement. So when you see the instruction LDA #0, what is the opcode for LDA? The opcode for LDA is given here. It is 00. Represent this in binary. So 00, 6 bits here. You have only 6 bits. The remaining 2 bits, you will be continuing it to the next positions of the instruction format, N and I, because you cannot accommodate all 8 bits because only 6 bits is allocated for the opcode field. So the remaining 2 bits you are going to place it in the N bit field and the I bit field. Now check which addressing mode is this instruction present in. This instruction is present in immediate addressing mode. How do you identify it? The operand is preceded with an hash symbol. So here you can find that the operand is preceded with an hash symbol. So this instruction is present in immediate addressing mode. So you have one bit which is allocated for immediate addressing mode, which is I. So since this instruction is in immediate addressing mode, you are going to make this bit as 1. So the instruction is not in indirect addressing mode, indexed addressing mode, but it is present in immediate addressing mode. Now coming to the X bit, it is not in indexed addressing mode also. Now coming to the E bit is set to 1 only if the instruction is in format 4. Otherwise it is set to 0. It is reset to 0. Now for the immediate addressing mode instructions, you need not calculate the base value or the PC value. That is, you need not calculate the displacement by using the PC value or the base value, but the actual value, the value itself becomes the displacement. The value itself that is mentioned as part of the instruction becomes the displacement value. So if you see this instruction LDA #0, 0 is the operand value. 0 is a constant or it is the operand value. This 0 itself becomes the 12-bit displacement in case of the immediate addressing mode. So represent this 0 in 12 bits. 4, 8 and 12. So this instruction is in immediate addressing mode. It is not in indirect addressing mode or indexed addressing mode. So n and x values are 0. And since the instruction is in format 3, e value is also 0. And since the instruction is in immediate addressing mode, you need not calculate the displacement by using any of the formula. And hence b value as well as the p value is going to be 0, and the displacement becomes the value itself that is mentioned as part of the instruction. The value that is mentioned as part of the instruction is zeros, and these 12 bits are filled with zeros. Now group 4 bits together and generate the hexadecimal object code. So first 4 bits are 0, next 4 bits is 1, next 4 bits is 0, next 4 bits 0, 0 and 0. So this is the object code for the instruction LDA #0. Next, coming to the next instruction, plus LDB #total. Plus LDB #total. This instruction is in format 4 because the instruction is starting with the plus symbol. The instruction is starting with the plus symbol, and hence this instruction is said to be in format 4. So format 4, you have the empty instruction format for format 4 here, where the first 6 bits is assigned for opcode, then you have 3 bits for addressing mode, then you have the B bit, P bit and extended bit, and then the last 20 bits assigned for the physical address or the target address. We will start filling this format here. So first find out the opcode for LDB. The opcode for LDB is 68 hexa, represent 68. So you can fill only 6 bits here, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 8. 8 is 1, 0. Then continue the next 0 and 0 to the n bit and the I bit field. Next, fill the E bit. What will be the value of E bit for format 4 instructions? For format 4 instructions, this E bit will be set to 1. And check the instruction is in which addressing mode. The instruction has got only one operand, and that operand also begins with a hash symbol. When the operand value begins with an hash symbol, then that instruction is said to be in immediate addressing mode. So you have made this I bit as 0, but since the instruction is in immediate addressing mode, change that value to 1. And the instruction is in immediate addressing mode, not in indirect addressing mode or not in indexed addressing mode. So make retain n value as 0 and make x value as 0. As we have seen in the previous instruction, when the instruction is in immediate addressing mode, you need not calculate the target address or you need not calculate the displacement using the p value or the b value. So B bit as well as the P bit are reset to 0. And what happens to the 20 bit address? So what is the operand present here? In the previous instruction, if you see, the operand was a constant value. You wrote that constant value represented as 12 bits. But if you see the operand here, it is a symbol. It is a symbol. Now what is the address? What is the address where this total is declared? Where the total is declared? Total is declared at address 1788. 1788. But 1788 is just 16 bits. Represent it in 20 bits. That is, mask the upper value, the higher value to 0. Higher value to 0. So represent 1788 in 20 bits. When you represent 1788 in 20 bits, the first 4 bits are going to be zeros. Next 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. Next 7, 0, 1, 1, 1. And last is 8. And next you have 8, 1, 0, 0, 0 and next you have 1, 0, 0, 0. So this is the 20-bit representation of the address. So the target address of total is taken. The target address of total is 1788 and that 1788 is represented in 20-bit format. So the first 4 bits are going to be zeros and the remaining 16 bits are going to be the actual target address where total has been defined. Now group 4 bits together and generate the hexadecimal object code for this instruction. When you group 4 bits together, you have the object code as 6, 9, 1, 0, 1, 7, 8 and 8. 6, 9, 1, 0, 1, 7, 8, 8. Now you can find the difference between the first instruction object code, the second instruction object code and the third instruction object code. The number of digits, the number of hexadecimal digits in the first instruction is 4 digits because 2 hexadecimal digits is equal to 1 byte. So since you have 4 digits, this instruction is a format 2 instruction, and how many bytes it occupies? It occupies 2 bytes. If you come to the next object code, there are 6 hexadecimal digits. 2 hexadecimal digits is equal to 1 byte in the sense it is having 3 bytes. The length of the object code is 3 bytes since this instruction is a format 3 instruction. Similarly, when you come to the third instruction, you have 8 hexadecimal digits. You have 8 hexadecimal digits. 8 in the sense 2 hexadecimal digits is equal to 1 byte. When you have 8 hexadecimal digits, then it is a format 4 instructions. It is a format 4 instruction which occupies 4 bytes. Which takes 4 bytes. So 4 byte instruction. Coming to the next instruction in sequence. The next instruction is an assembler directive. It is not an executable instruction. It does not occupy any memory. It is not an executable instruction. It just instructs the assembler to perform some operation. Coming to the next instruction in sequence. The next instruction is add table comma x. Add table comma x. Before going to that, I'll just clear all of them. Yes. Add table comma x is the next instruction. Now the first job is identifying which instruction format it is in. This instruction is not in format 1 because you have 2 operands. It is not in format 2 also because both are not registers. The first operand is a memory location and the second operand is a register. So it is not in format 2 also. Check if the instruction is in format 4. No, because the instruction is not starting with the plus symbol. So since it is not in format 1, 2 or 4, this instruction is in format 3. So format 3, this is the empty instruction format. We'll start filling the empty instruction one by one. So what is the opcode? The opcode field is add. So what is the hexadecimal opcode for instruction add? It is 18 hexa. So replace the 6 bits with 18 in binary. So it is 0001 and 810. So since the next 2 bits has to be continued to the n bit and the I bit. Next, this instruction is in format 3. So the E bit is going to become 0. Now check which addressing mode this instruction is present. This instruction is present in indexed addressing mode because you have table comma x. Table is a memory location and x is an index to that table. It keeps on either incrementing or decrementing based upon the requirement. Table is an array or a memory location which is pointed by an index x, and hence this instruction is said to be in indexed addressing mode, and so the x bit is going to become 1. And remember, n and I values both cannot be zeros at the same point of time. Either the instruction should be in indirect addressing mode or immediate addressing mode, or it can be both 1, 1. It cannot be zeros. So we are going to make the n value and I value as 1. And now we are supposed to find out the displacement value. So what is the formula that we have seen to find out the displacement value? The formula to find out the displacement value is target address minus PC. So target address minus PC is the formula to find out the displacement. So what is meant by target address? Target address is the address where the symbol table is defined. At which address table is defined? Table is defined at address 0018. Table is defined at address 0018. This is the target address minus PC value. PC is program counter. So program counter will have the address of the next instruction that has to be executed in sequence. So which is the current instruction? The current instruction is add table comma x. So which is the next instruction in sequence? It is TIX count. So what is the address that is present in program counter? Program counter will have the address of the next instruction. Since the current instruction is add, the next instruction is TIX. What is the address of that instruction? 000C. So 0018 minus 000C will fetch you the value 000C only. It is 000C only. So this is the displacement that you have got from the formula target address minus PC value. Check if this value is between the range. What is the range for PC value? What is the range for program counter value? The displacement calculated using the program counter register should be between minus 2048 and plus 2047. Now the value that you have got is 12. 12 is within the range. So this is acceptable. This displacement is acceptable. So take this displacement and represent it in 12-bit representation format. So it is 000 000 0000 and 1100. C is 12. So how do you represent 12? 12 is 1100. But how many bits is displacement? Displacement is 12 bits. So mask the remaining higher bits with all zeros and represent 12, that is C as 1100. So how did you get this 000C? Which value we have made use? Whether we have made use of the base value, base register value, or the program counter register value? We have made use of the program counter register value. So P value will become equal to 1 and B value will be equal to 0. Now group 4 bits together and generate the hexadecimal opcode object code. So when you group 4 bits, you have 1, B, A, 00 and C. So this is the hexadecimal object code for the instruction add table comma x. Coming to the next instruction. The next instruction is TIX count. TIX count is an instruction which is used for incrementing the value of x. TIX is an instruction which is used for incrementing the value of index register. So now identify this instruction is in which format. It is not in format 1 since it has got the opcode as well as the operand. It is not in format 2 because the operand is a memory location. It is not a register. Check if the instruction is in format 4. No, it is not in format 4 because the instruction is not beginning with a plus symbol. It is in format 3. So for format 3, this is the format. I'll just clear these values. Yeah. Here the opcode for this instruction is TIX and the operand is count. So find out the hexadecimal opcode for the instruction TIX. The hexadecimal opcode for the TIX instruction is 2C. So represent 2C in binary here. So it is 0010 and C is 11 and the remaining 2 bits move it to the N bit position and the I bit position because you cannot accommodate all 8 bits over here. Now the next job is fill the E bit. Fill the E bit. The instruction TIX count is in format 3 and hence E bit is reset to 0. Next find out which addressing mode is this instruction in. This instruction is not in immediate addressing mode. It is not in indirect addressing mode. It is not in indexed addressing mode also. So make this X bit value as 0, and as I told for the previous instruction, N value and I value cannot be 0 at the same point of time, but they can be 1 1. So make the N bit value as 1 and the I bit also as 1. Now the next job is to find out the displacement. So whether you'll be using the B and P will be set to 1 based upon which register you'll be using to find out the displacement. So I will clear here. So according to the formula, how do you calculate the displacement? Displacement is equal to target address minus PC. First we'll have to find out the displacement using the program counter register only, because by default all instructions will be in PC relative addressing mode, but some of the instructions which go beyond the range will come under the category of base relative addressing mode. So displacement is equal to target address minus PC value. So which is this instruction? The instruction is TIX count, and what is the target address of count? Target address of count is 0015. It is the address where count has been defined. So count target address is 0015. So we'll take down that count target address minus PC value. The current instruction is TIX count. So PC will have the address of the next instruction that has to be executed. So current instruction is at address 000C, and what is the address of the next instruction? F. So subtract 000F from 0015. So the answer that you will get is 0006 is the displacement that you are getting when you make use of the PC register value. So the displacement, represent the displacement in 12 bits format. It is 0000, 0000, 0000, and 6 is 0110. So we got this displacement using the PC value. So P bit will become equal to 1 and B bit will be reset to 0. Now group 4 bits together to generate the hexadecimal opcode equivalent for the instruction TIX count. So when you group together, the hexadecimal equivalent will be 2F2 0 0 0 0 and 6. 2F2006 is the hexadecimal object code for the instruction TIX count. Next, the next instruction is jump less than table. JLT table is an instruction. First find out which instruction format is this instruction present in. The instruction is not in format 1 since it has got an operand. It is not in format 2 because the operand is a memory location. It's not in format 4 also because the instruction is not starting with the plus symbol. It is in format 3. So format 3. The first step is find out the opcode for the instruction JLT. The opcode for the instruction JLT is 38 hexa. Represent it in binary. Represent it in binary. It is 0011 and 810. Continue the 0 bit to the nth position and ith position. Now, is the instruction in format 3 or format 4? Since the instruction is in format 3, the E bit will be reset to 0. E bit will be reset to 0, and now check which addressing mode the instruction is present. The instruction is not present in indirect addressing mode, it is not present in immediate addressing mode, and it is not present in indexed addressing mode also. Now according to our rule, N and I value both cannot be 0 at the same point of time. Make both of them 1 1. And now you are supposed to find out the displacement value. So again, how do you find out the displacement value? Displacement value is equal to target address of the operand minus PC value. So what is the operand that is present here? Table is the operand. Table is the operand. So what is the target address of table? The target address of table is 0018. At address 0018, table value has been defined. So take down the value of the target address of table minus PC value. So at which instruction we are right now? We are in the instruction JLT table. So according to the rule, PC should have the address of the next instruction. Which is the next instruction? STA total. At which address it is present? It is present at address 0012. So the program counter register will have the address 0012, which is the address of the next instruction that has to be executed. So subtract 0012 from 0018. So the answer that you get is 0006. 0006, which is the displacement. Now represent this in 12 bits. 0000, 0000 and 0110. Now we have made use of the PC value to find out the displacement. So P value will become equal to 1 and B value will be made as 0. Now group 4 bits together and represent the object code in hexadecimal value. So the value is 3, 3B, 4, 3B, 3B2, 006. 3B2006 is the hexadecimal object code for the instruction JLT table. So this is the end of the instruction. We'll move on to the next instruction, which is STA total. So STA total, which format is this instruction present in? This instruction is not in format 1, it's not in format 2 and not in format 4 also. It is in format 3. So we'll take the empty instruction for format 3. Find out the opcode for the instruction STA. The opcode for the instruction STA is 0C. 0C is the opcode for instruction STA. Represent it in binary. C is 1, 1. The next 2 bits continue to the N bit position and I bit position. Since this instruction is in format 3, E bit will be reset to 0. E bit will be reset to 0 and check which addressing mode this instruction is. This instruction is not in indirect addressing mode. It is not in immediate addressing mode. It is not in indexed addressing mode also. So we make this N bit and I bit to 1, 1 and find out the displacement. For finding out the displacement, by default make use of the PC value. So clear this. Target address of the operand minus PC value. What is the target address of the total? Total's target address. Total has been defined at the address 1788. So that becomes the target address for total. So it is 1788 minus PC value. This instruction is starting at address 0012 and PC will have the address of the next instruction. Which is the address of the next instruction? 0015. So PC will be loaded with the address of the next instruction, which is 0015. So it is 0015. 1788 minus 0015 is equal to 1773. It is 1773, which is the displacement that is calculated using the PC value. So since we have calculated the displacement using the PC value, P bit becomes equal to 1 and B bit is reset to 0. Now since you have 16 bits of displacement but you can accommodate only 12 bits, discard the 1 over there. Take only 7, 7 and 3. So how do you represent 7? It is 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1 and 3. 0, 0, 1, 1. So now represent group 4 bits together and generate the hexadecimal object code for the instruction STA total. It is 0 F C2773. The hexadecimal object code for the instruction STA total is 0F2773 is the object code. So coming to the next instruction. The next instruction is a reserved word instruction. For reserved word instructions, they are all assembler directives. You need not find out the object code for these instructions. So when you come across the next three instructions, they are all reserved word instructions which are assembler directives used to reserve the memory locations. And the last instruction is the end instruction. End says it is the end of the executable program. End first. First says first is the label which is the first executable instruction. So this is how you find out the object codes for the given SIC-XC instructions. Thank you.